welcome to the Storm Division pre-show for week, what are we on? 4 now, I think. My name is Jasleen, and joining me once again this evening is Goon. Goon, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm wearing a yellow shirt today. I don't think I've done one of these. And to commemorate my yellow shirt, I'm also having a yellow box chocolate drink to go with it.
Did you have work today? Was it a busy day, or are you...
I did have work today. Busy is relative. It's all hard work, though. Nah, it was good. It was good. I did stay busy. Lots of driving around and doing the thing. So
I had our last class for Moose today for his puppy training course. So he graduated and got a little certificate, and they got all the dogs like set up in this little like. They had us set up in like a V basically to take a picture of the entire class graduating. It was super cute. But let's talk about Storm Div. We're going to quickly run through the teams just to give you guys a reminder of what's going on there. Chat's asking, is Goon really allowed to flame both his teams at the same time? Am I allowed to? Yeah, it's a Wild Heart party tonight is what I said, because Goon and I will be casting We Take It the Wayeth, which most of you guys know is most of our CCL roster, and Wild Heart Omega, which is our academy team. But Storm Div teams, let's break that down really quick. Anti-Clown Association, Baby Makers, Can't Censorship, $1 Million JPEG, that's Goon's team by the way, guys. And we have Baby Diamond Hands, Pre-Workout Power, We Take It the Wayeth, and Wild Heart Omega. Take a quick look at the division standings and talk a little bit about the matches from last week. I actually got to catch a lot more matches last week for Storm Div than I have other weeks, because lots of times they end up happening at the same time, or I'm busy or whatever. But we have Anti-Clown Association still holding on to that top position. However, they got their first loss this past week, with Pre-Workout Power beating them in a 3-2. It's an interesting one because Pre-Workout Power's roster has completely changed from what it started at as the beginning of the season to what it was now. They also had Cure subbing in for them, so I'm not sure how much having him helping with draft and shot calling maybe helped them with that victory. And it wasn't an easy victory. It went to Game 5, and it was quite the series. What's your thoughts? Any thoughts on Anti-Clown Association, Pre-Workout Power with those changes to the roster? What we might be expecting out of them?
What are we expecting out of them? Probably the same old, same old. Not really. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask, because I don't really like. I don't want to say I don't care about them. I do, but I find other levels of play to be more fun, other teams to be more interesting, more fun to watch. Hey, ACA, they trying to get their dubs in. You know, it was a hard season in CCL for them, so they'll get them where they can, and that's an NGS.
And I totally get what you're saying about other teams more fun to watch, because you're watching these two teams. They know what they're doing, and you're never going to see really fights break out unless there's a good enough reason to have them break out. So it was a lot of dancing around each other, nothing really going on, soaking, getting their camps, prepping for objectives, and then only when there was a really good reason for them to fight would a brawl ever break out. It's not like you watch some of these other teams and they like collapse on opportunities so quick to pick somebody off that like steps out past the mid part of the lane. It really wasn't that happening. It was a lot of just like, let's sit and wait, sit and wait, and sit and wait. And we got 20s. Let's try and force something. Oh, we didn't force something. Like, so I get where you're coming from with that. Like, it's a different approach than maybe some of the academy teams or other teams in the division take. That's for sure. We also saw them doing some more interesting things with avoiding fights, is kind of doing, split pushing, that kind of stuff, or just running it down lanes, grabbing structures where they can. And that's really what it felt like for both those teams. Just avoid the fights, siege, not really here to team fight. We're here to play more of a macro style of that. That makes sense? So, yeah. If you guys didn't catch that game...
That's the flavor of the month, the macro style. Right?
Yeah. If you guys didn't catch that game, it's up on my YouTube channel now, I believe. I think it got posted last night. But if you want to go back and watch it, it was a good one. It went to 5 games. It was kind of interesting to see how these CCL experienced players approach the game, that's for sure. We also had Wildheart Omega taking on $1 Million JPEG last week, Goon. That one ended in a 3-0 for Wildheart Omega. And I was able to catch a bit of that one here or there. Game 1, you guys got a little bit stomped. I don't think you were able to take a single structure off of Wildheart Omega in that one.
No. Yeah. Look, I just told the guys, I'm like, if you guys lose to me, I'm just dissolving this entire team. You guys can do your own thing. I'm done. Or you guys are actually gonna get retired forever if you guys lose to me and my team.
They didn't swinging. So, they didn't want to lose their spot.
They actually showed up wanting to play the game, and I'm like, oh, this is the first time I've seen this. Nice.
And game 2, you guys.
Where's this been?
Game 2, you guys actually played on Braxis, which is really exciting for me. We were talking about Braxis last night and how it's a completely different map when it's played in competitive, when you're actually able to communicate with your team. And it was looking pretty rough for you, but you had a cool fight over boss where you kind of swooped in, stole the boss, and maybe the game was going to turn around, but then ultimately they took that one too.
I've tried to forget all these games, guys. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay. No, but it was still a fun series to watch. I think it's probably fun for them to be playing against you as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, I could feel and see just like different play. I was like, man, these guys this is unbelievable. You know how much oxygen, carbon dioxide, how much energy I expend running just trying to, hey, this, play like this, do this, think about God, and then they show up. So cool. I'm glad that they're capable of being clean.
I feel like they probably went into that series wanting to prove themselves to you, which makes me curious about what tonight's going to look like, because I have a feeling some of the players want to prove themselves to you again, taking on the CCL boys, right?
Nah, not me. Don't prove anything to me. Prove it to yourself.
Yes, that's a good way to look at it. We also had We Take It Away taking on Baby Makers last week. Game 1 and 2 were pretty dominant wins for We Take It Away. It was also the first time they had Tremor able to play with them last week, but they were still doing role swaps. Tremor wasn't playing tank. Mason was still on tank. Tremor was playing DPS. I think he played Tracer one game. I can't remember the other game. I didn't take well enough notes, I guess, but still doing some role swaps and kind of playing around and having fun. Game 3 was much closer, but there was some mini drafts happening. We saw We Take It Away with Grab and Abathur and Murky, a TLV on Baby Makers, so it was a fun series to watch, some fun things being run, but ultimately We Take It Away 3-0'd Baby Makers there. And the last series from last week was CCS versus Baby Diamond Hands. This one I wasn't expecting to go to Game 5, but it did. With CCS coming out 3-2. I didn't actually get to catch any of the matches here, but I was expecting maybe a 3-1, maybe even a 3-0 from CCS. They've been performing pretty well lately here, so I was kind of surprised to see them have to go to Game 5 for that series. They ultimately came out on top, but maybe it's a sign that Baby Diamond Hands is growing, progressing as a team and improving, so it's good sign for them potentially. They're still sitting down at the bottom of the division standings, though, with Baby Makers, followed by $1 Million JPEGs. Pre-Workout Power is down there in 5th, but I will say with these roster changes and the toughest teams out of the way for them, they're just going to shoot up to the top now, especially if they're going to have Cure sub for them a bunch more. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's a possibility, right? Yeah, anything else you want to touch on at the division standings here, Goon?
No, I guess actually the only thing I want to bring up is that Heroic Division needs to be 5 games. All right, best of 5. All right.
I was actually trying to catch a bit of there's a Heroic game happening right now between Imagine and Seven Rings, and we were talking last night about how that match kind of like will determine where these teams kind of fall, because we don't know Seven Rings face the worst or the best teams, and Imagine's face coming some of the worst. So I wanted to catch it, but it's happening at the same time right now. So. But let's go ahead and we'll take a look at this week's matches for Storm Division. We already had Baby Makers and Anti-Clown Association happen last night, I believe. I wasn't able to catch the game and I haven't had time to go over it and look at it, but Anti-Clown Association took a 3-0. Somebody in chat was saying that Baby Makers almost took a game last night off of them. That's what it's. I think somewhere somebody said that in chat. So it would be interesting to go back and watch it. I'm kind of curious now to see how close some of those matches were. But ACA's pretty difficult team to take down. We have, for the other matches this week, Baby Diamond Hands versus Pre-Workout Power. What's your thoughts on this match, Goon?
I mean, hopefully, I would assume that Pre-Workout Power wins. As a matter of fact, I think somebody already in chat already mentioned it, but I won't spoil it for anybody that's watching, the VOD or anything like that. So, yeah.
No, but I'm kind of curious to see. I'm expecting Pre-Workout Power to definitely come out ahead here, whether it's a straight. I'm not even actually. It's probably going to be a 3-0. I want to see Baby Diamond Hands take a game, but I don't know that they're there yet, especially with the new roster.
Right. I agree. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's. It'll happen. I don't think there's going to be a game that's going to be taken.
So Pre-Workout Power probably going to come out on that one. We Take It the With versus Wild Heart Omega. I don't want to get into too much breaking down because we're going to look at the rosters, break it down a little bit more for you guys. But it's basically Wild Heart's CCL team versus our Academy team. So the CCL team should win. But maybe the Academy boys give them a run for their money.
maybe the CCL guys just troll themselves into a loss.
Yeah. You never know. You never know.
That's potentially that could happen, but I don't know if Weary Day will allow it. He wouldn't want to lose to them.
Maybe we see some more Abathur Murky comps from them and they get punished for it this time.
Cho Galls or something.
Yeah. It should be an interesting series though, because I think We Take It the Way it kind of has an understanding of how good Wild Heart Omega is and what they can and can't get away with. So I'm interested to see what they do pull out in their drafts this evening and who's going to be playing what role and who's going to be playing. But we'll kind of break that down in a moment here. The last matchup for this week, $1 Million JPEG versus Can't Censorship. This one, I think, is more of a coin toss. CCS just kind of, they had to go to Game 5 to beat Baby Diamond Hands, which is the weakest team in the division here. And I was kind of thinking there may be scaling after their win into Pre-Workout Power in Week 2. But now I'm questioning a little bit if they really are. They just got lucky that week or what's going on here. So I really don't know how this one's going to go. Goon.
Me neither. Obviously, I'm going to say that we're going to win. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. CCS, they definitely showed up. They've been showing up the past couple weeks here. So, but I was very surprised to hear that match with Baby Diamond Hands went to Game 5. I for sure thought that would just be like, a 3-0 or at least a 3-1. So I'm curious to see what happened. That'll be some good lay in bed and watch VODs thing to do later.
Yeah. I have this one going over to Can't Censorship, and the only reason I picked them over you guys was to hope that you'd want to prove me wrong.
Jazzy. Come on. When it comes down to it, apathy is probably never mind.
But it should be a good matchup. I think probably out of all the matches occurring this week, that is going to be the most competitive one. Probably the one that's going to be the most entertaining to watch.
I'm gonna be warmed up for this one. I'm gonna be ready for this one. I got the next 3 days off. I don't have to work. I don't have to come in, after work tired. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna be ready to beat some kids.
If you guys do want to catch that game, that's tomorrow. Let me just double check. Do you know who's casting off the top of your head?
I see. Okay. We have a caster. I don't know who it is.
It's tomorrow. I think it's being casted on the NGS channel by Raka and Anarissa. And it starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. So if you guys want to catch that, I believe it's on the NGS channel. If not,
Yeah,
it'll be on Rocca's channel. But I think they posted that it's on NGS. So
the last time I looked, we didn't have a caster, and then my teammate said, "Hey, we got picked up." So
yeah,
all right, cool.
yeah. I just double checked in the Discord, and it says Rocca's casting. So if you guys want to catch
Nice.
that tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, on the Nexus Gaming Series Twitch channel is where you can watch it. And I think it'll be the best series to catch this week out of all of the Storm Div games. But that doesn't mean
I don't know. We'll see. This one right here. This one we're about to watch right now.
But this one might be good. Don't go anywhere. Let's take a look now at the tier list that I have for the division. The only real change here is I've popped up pre-workout power into tier A. They did beat Anti-Clown Association, but I'm not confident enough to pop them into tier S or above Anti-Clown Association because of the fact that they had Cure subbing for them. I think Cure brings, really good draft calls and maybe even calls in the game that put them a bit ahead of ACA last week, and I'm curious to see how they perform without a Cure sub on their roster. I'm curious to see who exactly we're going to be seeing consistently playing for their roster as well, because they had a sub last week. Do we see Maka back? Maybe not. I don't know. But other than that, I think everybody else has stayed pretty much in the same position on the tier list. There wasn't really anything that made me want to shift things around. CCS beat Wildheart Omega. Wildheart Omega had subs that week, so it's really iffy if that'd be one of the matches, and if they get into playoffs, both of them, that I'd want to see occur again with Wildheart Omega's actual roster to see how they stand up to each other, because having the two subs really hurt them, I think, in week 1. And yeah, the rest of the matches really didn't prove anything for moving anything around. What do you think, Goon?
The verdict is still out for me on We Taketh Away whether or not they're above pre-workout power. Just because We Taketh Away, it's a lot of role swapping happening.
Yeah.
A lot of for fun gaming that's happening, right? So it just depends on what kind of. I guess that's the hard part about like this division at the higher levels. It's like how sweaty are people being? How much are they more having fun? Like what's the agenda here? It gets a little hard to kind of stack teams out.
And I actually wrote this in my notes, is that with pre-workout power, I've shifted them up, but we're never really going to know where they stand into We Take It Away or ACA if they were to face them again without Cure, because they've played both those teams already. They've already got the harder teams out of the way, so they're really only going to be playing, B through D tier teams on our tier list at least, which should be easier matchups for them. So we're not really going to know where they really stand against the upper teams until playoffs come around again.
True.
So yeah, it's like basically right now, like the upper part of the tier list is just solidified unless there's some big upsets from the lower tier teams. If they come in and stomp or something, I don't think much is going to be changing up there, and I can't really switch it around. Like, you're right, it could be pre-workout power over We Take It Away, but we just don't know. And we won't, because at this point, their match is past. We Take It Away won that one, but it was a completely different roster. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they scrim each other occasionally, and we get a little inside knowledge, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and you said scrim, so now like I'm gonna ask the question: is anybody actually scrimming right now outside of? I mean, are any of these like CCL teams or CCL?
Yeah, the
piecemeal teams, are they scrimming? Is anybody scrimming? I don't know. I know the teams in B through D are. I know Baby Bankers has been scrimming. Correct. I know who usually gets scrims in, right? They've been scrimming. I don't know about you guys, but I would imagine the other two have been scrimming as well. And we have a Heroes Rise Contender Series coming up, so a lot of those teams that are the B through D teams are getting ready to do that as well. So you could kind of count that as scrims in a sense. Nintori says yes. They're scrimming. They scrim, like scrim. Okay. All right. Cool.
Scrim or just going to like in-houses?
Because I don't count in-houses the same as a scrim.
Yeah.
But it'll be like 45 seconds before he responds to that.
Yeah. We got the delay on so we can jump right into the cast after, so I'm sure he'll clarify it for us here. We'll pop on and take a look at the rosters of the two teams for tonight. We Take It the Wayeth versus Wildheart Omega. We Take It the Wayeth has Mason Blaze, Tremor, Weird Day, Zergling, and Slug Hunter from the Wildheart CCL team, in addition to Infrared joining them on the roster for this season of NGS. Over on Wildheart Omega, we have Reb, Gojira Funds, Iron Roger, and Hiva. Hiva's the sub there. I think I popped in and asked Reb and Goji earlier if they had the full roster tonight, and it sounded like they planned on having the full roster tonight, so we won't be seeing Hiva. I'm not sure who we're seeing on the side of We Take It the Way It, though. Do you know?
I don't know.
It'll be a mystery then. I don't know if Tremor's going to be here this week or not. I guess we'll find out when we get into the lobbies here. Goon, anything you want to say about these two teams? I mean, they're near and dear to your heart. I'm sure you have some stuff to say, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're a bunch of apes. That's what they are. That's what I want to say about them. No, good group of people here. I'm glad to be able to work with them, to talk to them, hang out with them, and just experience them as people. They're fun. They're cool people. Everybody's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I have felt very, very welcomed by the CCL team when I took over managing for them last season. So I'm excited to maybe get to work more with them in the future. We'll have to see. But that's going to be the end of our pre-show for today. We have a match coming up here in 8 minutes for you between We Take It the Way and Wildheart Omega. We'll see you back soon. Don't go anywhere.